Right, welcome to this complete army overview, and it is for Necrons. The Necron Army is finished, so it's been revamped. You've seen it in plenty of battle reports already. Usually an army that does pretty good. It's sort of one of the top level armies, one that's been able to fight for possible #1 slot. Hasn't quite made it, I don't think, but maybe it may well be able to get to the top if this new army is any good. We'll see. I think it is a big improvement. So in this army overview and Tactica, we're going to talk about the overall tactics for the Necrons, what changes I've made, what new units are in, and we're gradually going to put the army together, and then we'll stand back and then you can see how the whole army looks. So for Necrons, the theme for them is this kind of, just the way they're painted, that silver kind of colour scheme, the rusty sort of look. Just kind of a mechanical nightmare, an army that adapts to its opponent, one that is very hard to root out and to kill, a very durable sort of army. That's sort of the theme and the feel I wanted for the Necrons. I've tried to reflect that in this list that I've built. It's not a spam army at all. I think it's quite nicely balanced. It's got my favourite units in there, but still I think it's one that's pretty competitive. Quite different really from other armies. A lot of the other armies I'm working on have a strong and definite battle plan. For the Necrons, it's more of a adapting to what the opponent does. So if you're being attacked, they'll adapt to that, or counterattack, or whatever the situation may be. This is a Necron army I've tried to build that will react to whatever situation. So that's sort of the plan for this Necron force. And then I'm trying to build an army around that sort of whole philosophy. So that's the feel and the look of the Necrons. A bit of a, your opponent looks and thinks, oh, that's going to be tough to try and deal with them, and that kind of grinding, soul-destroying army. I think, that frustrating kind of army to get to grips with and to try and destroy totally. So that's the idea behind the Necrons. So if you look at the previous videos, the overall the army video and overall plan videos for Necrons, you see the previous list and in the battle reports as well. What you'll see here is what units I've dropped. So I've dropped a number of units from the old list, just flicking through here. Codex kept the Overlord. I've dropped the Cryptek. He's out, so 65 points, plus he had the Solar Staff, so there's a fair few points saved there for him. And then I've dropped the, so look here, I had a Doom Scythe. I've dropped that, that's out as well, saving points. And then also I've dropped one Tomb Blade to save a few points. I did have a unit of 3, dropped one of those to save 50 points, and then the big saving, which has freed up loads of points, so I have dropped the Monolith finally. Now these units, I'll keep them, maybe use them in Apocalypse games and so on, or change lists around so they're not wasted, but Monolith is out. That's freed up 200 points. So all those little points savings, 300-400 points has been generated to then invest in changing units around, or entirely new units as well. So that's it there for units I've dropped. So what we'll do now is run through the codex, and then I'm just going to build this army up from start to finish, and then we'll stand back and see what the army looks like as well. So army structure, I was running a standard force organisation. One of the elements to this force, and something that people have been asking me a lot about and saying you've got to go for it, and that's the Decurion Detachment. Some people say it's not fair, you shouldn't take it. Well, it's in the codex, so it makes perfect sense to take advantage of it. So these are the rules. This detachment must include at least one core choice. You have to take a core choice. The only option for that is a Reclamation Legion. For each core choice you must include between 1 and 10 auxiliaries, so got to take at least one auxiliary as well. I've done that. Everything in my army fits within this Decurion Detachment, and then that means that I get Ever Living. Models in this detachment with the reanimation protocols receive +1 bonus to all rolls. So all the units that get reanimation protocols are on +1, so instead of a 5+ to get back up, they'll be on 4+. And then for instant death, instead of 6+, they'll be on 5+. So that's a massive help, and it fits within the theme for the army. That's that durable, hard to kill kind of approach, and then that helps with that 4+s, they get back up. Models in this detachment with living metal ignore the effects of crew shake and crew stun, so all my vehicles will ignore those effects as well. It's brilliant. So everything gets that. So we then really just go to Reclamation Legion, and this will form the core of this new Necron army, and it's mostly what was previously there. You know, most of what I had fits nicely within that, so it's not been a major change up. So the first, just in order here, you have to take a Necron Overlord. So there he is, Necron Overlord, just there. This is the model from the Catacomb Command Barge kit. So I've magnetised him to this base, and then I've put magnets on the command barge as well, so if he goes inside that, or he can go on the base. It used to be you could get off the vehicle and fight on foot. Can't do that anymore, but I have a commander here that can go on foot, so it's worked out well in the end. So there he is, he's the overall commander of the Necron army. So that's him. We'll just run through his upgrades. Just talk about the reanimation or Reclamation Legion. Move through cover and relentless for all the models. So really helpful. I mean, it's incredibly helpful, really. Move through cover, so nice reliability moving up. And then when you come to charges, that's going to help them out as well. And then relentless. So now all my rapid fire weapons, where usually I'd have to stand still, you know, shoot and then stand still, I can now shoot and charge. Necron warriors now, really flexible, can let off, you know, a wicked amount of firepower, and then if they're in range, charge. So very good indeed. And then for him, you can re-roll at reanimation protocols 1 for the Overlord from this formation, and units within 12. So units within 12 are not only on 4+ reanimation, but any scores of a 1, he's going to get to re-roll them. So it makes him nice and durable, and then all the units within 12 as well. So massive bonuses stacking up here, and it's for free. No cost in points. So it makes sense, I think, especially for Necrons. Some major enhancements and bonuses for taking advantage of the Decurion Detachment, and also I think the Reclamation Legion. So the Overlord, he's 80 points, and then I give him 30 points for the Mastercrafted War Scythe. That's one of the artifacts weapons. He's going to get that reroll for Mastercrafted. It makes him anti-vehicle, anti-heavy armor. You know, the AP2 strength 7, Fleshbane, Armorbane, I think, for him. So pretty good. I've given him Gauntlet of the Conflagrator as well. It's 30 points, 1 use only, but it's a template weapon. Strength 7, AP2, ignores cover. I think it's a nasty weapon. Now 30 points sounds steep, but I think most of the time he should be able to cause more damage than 30 points. So it'll pay for itself, I think. Pretty good. Next is a phase shifter. So now he's got a 4+ invulnerable save. So if he's up against the nastiest of opponents in combat, he's at toughness 5, a 4+ invulnerable save, 4+ reanimation protocols with rerolling 1s. So pretty good indeed. I haven't had the way the army's worked out. I haven't had the points to pay for the phylactery upgrade, so he doesn't have it, will not die, but I think that's offset by the enhanced formation and detachment benefits. So that's him. Now with the he's decent enough, but I did like the idea of having the Lich Guard protection for him, so I have gone for Lich Guard again. They're in. I think they're a brilliant bodyguard for the Necron Overlord. The way they just crowd around him, protect him with their shields, makes him look really important as well to have his own bodyguard, and it's a nice job for them. So he's not going to get picked off by stuff. You've got to get through this toughness 5, 3+ invuln save, and now 4+ reanimation protocols, rerolling 1s. They're even tougher than they were before. So you can sort of see now why I've dropped the Cryptek. There's no need for the Cryptek because I'm getting the benefits for free with the detachment. So there's a bit of a wise saving there. So that is the sort of mini Death Star type unit, very tough to get rid of them. So I was wondering how to get flyers into this army. Lich Guard are allowed to take a Night Sive as a dedicated transport, and that's what I've done. So you'll see the model a bit later on, but there it is. It really helps out with these. I used to run these on foot. They used to wander around, and it was rare they get into contact with stuff. But now I can fly them on and place them with that invasion beams rule. I can place them wherever they need to be, and it's not deep striking. They'll be placed exactly where the models are, where I want them to go. And that's helpful for him with his template weapon. So now it's an ambush unit with a nasty shot when they land. They don't just land and do nothing. They land and he can fire something that's nasty and do some damage. You know, if I'm after a unit of Terminators, he can land and template a few of them, knock them down in strength, I think, which will help out. So that's the plan with them. It means we've got a nice flyer in the army as well. So Lich Guard, there I give them the Hyperphase swords and the Dispersion shield upgrade. You have to pay 5 points each for that, but I think it's well worth it. So 150 points for them, 165 for him, and then 130 points for the flyer. So that's my HQ sorted out, bit of air cover, nice, nasty close combat unit there. So, and again, flexible. Remember I said at the beginning, adaptive. I want an adaptive army. Well, these can fly on. I can drop them off in amongst the Necron battle line, or they can go off and chase a unit, or they can go off and try and anchor an objective, or whatever the situation may be. That's flexibility there. I definitely have that. Next up is so it's 0 to 2 units of Lich Guard. I've chosen to take one. Now 1 to 4 units of Immortals, and that's really what put me off this formation for a while. I thought, well, if I go for this formation, I'm going to have to go for Immortals, and then I thought, well, how am I going to afford that? And then that's where I started to shave the points off the list. So Immortals are done, and really happy with how they come out. They're nice models. They're a lot bulkier than regular Necron Warriors. They do fill out this new Necron Army quite well. I've gone for a unit of 10. I was going to go for a smaller unit, but I thought, well, if you're going to take them, may as well kit them out at nice strength to do something in the game. So a unit of 10, which is the maximum you can take. I've gone for Gore's Blaster with these, just that rapid fire, strength 5 and AP 4, pretty good. And now they're so much better with the enhanced reanimation protocols, 4+, they get back up, rerolling 1s if they're near him, and then they've also now got this relentless rule and move through cover as well, so they're able to fire those weapons and charge as long as they haven't previously disembarked on that turn. Then I was thinking about how we're going to make these better. You know, they're going to be on foot, the opponent knows where they are, they've got to walk around trying to chase down targets. So what I've gone for is another ambush unit. I dropped the upgrade for the Doom Scythe, and then I've just taken a regular Night Scythe transport as well, because Immortals are allowed to take another Night Scythe, a Night Scythe as a dedicated transport. So now I've got 2 units being transported in flyers, and this one, you know, I can fly it on. You know, strength 5, maybe not so good against the front armour of vehicles, but now the ability to fly on and drop these off, I can get around the side and the rear of enemy vehicles, and that's where more damage I think can be done with those. So a nice ambush unit with 20 shots at range 12, and then nice durability to survive. I can bring them on and work in combination with him, or they can go off and do their own separate mission. Again, nice flexibility with these 2 options. The army's shaping up pretty good. That's Immortals. Then 2 to 8 units of Warriors. In the previous list I had units of 10, 2 units of 10, and that's what I've gone for again, just the same. So there's a unit of 10 just there. I'll just bring one of the units on. So unit of 10, and again they're so much better now. 4+ reanimation for these, relentless move through cover. And then rerolling 1s on reanimation if he's within 12. So Necron Warriors as before, but they've been improved a lot. They're just to bulk out the army, to fill out, to provide some fire support, to sit on objectives, to steadily advance, whatever I need them to do on foot. And then the army was coming together, and the points are getting quite tight, and there's a lot of infantry in the army. I was desperately wanted to have vehicles. I had the flyers, that's quite cool, but I wanted to have some kind of Necron machine on the table. So I have kept the Ghost Ark there. So that will be in the force. It will transport one of the Necron warrior units. The other one may hang around nearby. It means that I can repair lost Necrons, Necron warriors, and I've got a nice gun, open top gun platform. I'm pretty tough. Quantum shielding, armor 13. I was able to let off some nice shots here, so do like that very much indeed. I suppose the vehicles get moved through cover. I could be wrong. Not sure about that. This is all units, but maybe the vehicle will get it as well. So it fills out the army nicely. 105 points for him. These are 130 points units. Nice, cheap units that fill out the army. Pretty good, but not a waste of points. They've got anti-vehicle capability as well with their Gauls Flayer options or weapons. So that's 2 take units of warriors. Then you have to take Tomb Blades. That's fine by me because I like them anyway. The way the army's worked out, I've only been able to afford 5 of them, not the usual 6, but still I don't think that's too much of a difference. I also like these because they're sort of an in-between in scale-wise. You've got infantry this size, vehicles here, and then in between you've got these machines / infantry, jet bikes here. So that's just a nice bridge between the two. So, and they again, nice bulky unit. So 5 of them. Points-wise, that's only 90 points for 5. Then I've gone for particle beamers, weapons, 10 points to give them all that. That's 2 points each. 2 points each to give them shield veins, so 3+ save they get now. And these guys are reanimation protocols, so 4+ reanimation protocols as well. Brilliant. Very, very good indeed. And then also 10 points, or 2 points each, to give them nebulous scopes. Their shots will ignore cover. So these are the bane of Horde armies. Their strength 6 blast, AP 5, nasty stuff. Very, very nasty. So, happy with that. So that's Tomb Blades as well. And the last option to take for the Reclamation Legion is monoliths, but it's 0 to 3. So I don't have to take the monolith. I've dropped it, and that's where the points have been generated for these new units. So that's the army filled out quite well. I've moved some of the miniatures away here, but the army's got a nice balance to it. It's a nice mixture of units, but still plenty of points to fill out here. So remember, you've got to take an auxiliary at least. I've gone for 2 auxiliaries and the same formation as well. So I've actually gone for a Canoptek Harvest. For that, you have to, we'll just cover the rules first of all. Move through cover and relentless. That ties in nicely with the Reclamation Legion, which has the same rules. So now, all the army, whichever formation it's in, I can just, it's a blanket. I can remember, blanket thing to remember. That it's just move through cover, the whole army, and then the whole army gets relentless as well, which is superb. But you also get adaptive subroutines. At the start of each of the controller player's movement phases, choose one of the following special rules: Fleet, Reanimation Protocols, or Shred. These are all handy options to take. The Canoptek Spider from this formation, all units from this formation within 12 of him benefit from the effects of the chosen rule until the start of the next phase. So Wraiths, for example, don't usually get reanimation protocols, but now they've got access to it, and it's enhanced. It's 4+, and rerolling 1s if the commander's nearby. So all of a sudden, Wraiths, which are durable enough, with toughness 5, 3+ invulnerable save, 2 wounds, now they've got access to reanimation protocols. Pretty much means that half of the damage, or half the wounds they don't save, they'll roll and ignore. At least. So, crazy. The way I'm interpreting the rules for this, I think to gain that benefit you have to keep at all times within at least 12 of the spider to benefit from that. You can't just get it at the start of your turn within 12 and then move out quickly and then be out of range and still have that special ability. So it means you've got to cluster with the spider until you're ready to strike out. It's just a way of protecting the Wraiths. So you have to take 1 Canoptek Spider, 50 points, so that's fine, one of those. And then scarabs need to be part of the formation, so I've gone for a minimum with them, just the way the points have worked out. So unit of three bases, and then I can breed new scarabs and gradually build that up as it advances, just gaining in strength. And then the last unit is wraiths, and points wise I'm able to afford unit 5 like so. But remember, I'm taking this formation twice, so what you see here times by 2, so you can have 2 Canoptek harvesters, actually 10 wraiths. You used to have 6, now there'll be 10 of them on the table. So it will be perhaps the iconic part of this Necron army, all those wraiths, the part that your opponent immediately looks at and says, oh dear, there's a lot of wraiths there. So a real distraction, a real annoying unit for the opponent to deal with. You know, fearless, he's just got to kill them, they're not going to go away, they can take on anything. Hordes, pretty good with all their attacks. Vehicles, no problem. Characters, things with things that can hit you back very nastily, they can deal with pretty good with their 3+ invuln. So nasty unit. So taking advantage of them with the Canoptek harvest. So adding all that up, this formation here, if you add it all together, is 50, 60, 200. So it's 310 points for that lot, times it by 2, 620. And the Reclamation Legion there works out at 1230 points. And that gives a grand total of 1850 points. So it's exactly on the nose there for the points. So very good indeed. It's nice symmetry here for the Necrons, which is what you'd sort of expect for a machine sort of based army. I've got legions of warriors and immortals, so it's nice. Got some vehicles and got flyers, got a presence in the sky. Some rock hard, nasty units as well, difficult ones for the opponents to deal with, and sort of all rounders. You know, there's plenty of shots can come out for this army at softer horde type armies, but also some nice, pretty good high powered shooting. Well, more kind of the gauze effect for vehicles, I think, is more of the anti-vehicle kind of effect. And then in combat, some nice, durable, nasty stuff as well. So a bit of everything there for the Necrons, and just again representing that theme of that ability to take on any type of opponent and react and deal with whatever situation comes up. Sort of a reactive army is the plan for this new Necron force. Right, so what we'll do here next is just stand back or lay the whole army out so you can see it. That'll give you an idea of what the army looks like. Right, so there's the Necron list, or the Necron army laid out there. As you can see, it fills out the screen quite nicely. It's not the biggest army we have on the channel, but it's definitely not the smallest. It's sort of a nice size, sort of one of the larger armies, I would say. But the units that are there aren't soft targets by any means, so especially with this new Decurion detachment rule. So you've got the flyers there, presence on the table at least for them, and that flexibility of the 2 ambush units that can fly on. The Lich Guard there, the commander will join them. Doesn't have to, but that's probably the usual choice. Immortals here, nice shooting ambush unit, and then sort of Necron warriors bulking out the army nicely. They've got their transport, fire support here from the Tomb Blades, and then these 2 Canoptek harvest formations here. They'll sort of stick together. They don't have to, but they'll usually probably stick together, move out, leave it. I can imagine them defending an area quite nicely, hiding, and then leaping out if they need to, or going on the offensive, moving off. I can send them up. They're all fearless here. Fearless, fearless, fearless. I can send them off on a flank or whatever, and not worry about morale and so on. They can look after themselves. So, and their ability to take on any unit, you know, hordes, no problem. Monstrous creatures, no problem. A nice durable unit there. So, I think the army should do better. But we'll have to see. So that's the army laid out. Leave your comments and feedback, what you think of the new list. Do you think it's an improvement? What units you think could do well, what units you may think you'd drop, and what you'd add in. And then also, if you were facing this army in a game, how would you feel about it? Would you be optimistic, or do you think that it would put up a good fight? Leave your opinion and feedback there as well. But there it is, the new 1850 points army list there for the Necrons. The army is ready. They're ready to fight out on campaign now with their new Necron Overlord leading the force. We'll see how well they do. Plan to use them on both channels, so keep a lookout for future battle reports featuring this new and improved Necron army. We'll see how well they do. Maybe they can make a bid and a challenge to become the top army on the channel. We'll have to see. There it is. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.